welcome to Millionaire Mindset Mornings. This is day 2. I hope you were able to check out yesterday where we talked about your business or your side hustle may not be broke. It may actually be your mindset, okay? And today, what we are going to be talking about is those people who drain your energy, these dream killers, and how you can protect your business as well as your mindset from these dream killers. Okay, let me do a quick social media check to make sure we are good on all ends, and then we are going to get started. All right, so let's see. All right, it looks like we are good on everything. So I'm pulling up my notes. Um, And if you are new, what I'm going to be doing is every morning at 8 a.m., I am going to be sharing some business tips with you regarding your business as well as your side hustle. Y'all, I do not have my notes printed out. I actually have them in 2 places. So let me make sure I have everything. All right. And this first week that we are kicking off, we are going to be focusing mainly on resetting our mindset. The reason for that is I could give you all the tea, drop all the gems, give you all the framework or the things that you need to do. But if your mindset is not where it's supposed to be, then everything I'm telling you, you're not going to execute on it, okay? Because your mind is not in the right place. Have you ever given advice to someone and you gave them some really good advice, but they don't take your advice, so to speak? And it's usually because their mind has not been made up. Your mind is just in a totally different place and they're not ready to receive the information. So we're going to do a mindset reset. So this first week, that's what we're going to be focusing on. And as I mentioned earlier, yesterday we talked about, reframing some of our negative beliefs and some of our negative self-talk that we might tell ourselves, or those limiting beliefs that hold us back and block us from progressing. Okay. Now, today we're building on that because sometimes, yes, it is us that are telling ourselves, negative things, but also sometimes it's other people, and we have to protect ourselves from people who are the dream killers, who are trying to influence our success in a negative way. Okay. So believing is just one step, but protecting that belief is the next step. So yesterday we were flipping our beliefs and reframing them into something more positive. So now that you have reframed your beliefs and what you are hoping to achieve for your business and how you're thinking about your business, now we got to protect those beliefs from these dream killers. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it because I'm really, really, really trying hard to keep it at 10 minutes today. Okay. So step 1, the first thing you need to do is you have to be able to spot these dream killers, okay? And these are people, these are even habits or environments that you are putting yourself in that can silently sabotage your success, okay? So they can be people, they can be habits, so they can be things that you're doing, as well as the environments that you're placing yourself in that are not conducive to your business being successful, okay? Now, let's be real, okay? Because sometimes the dream killers are not always obvious. Sometimes they might be, you might be breaking bread with them. You might be going out, hanging out with them every week. They could even be sitting at your dinner table, okay? So sometimes it's not always obvious, all right? And this is how you can try and spot the not so obvious haters, okay? Because sometimes they might come disguised as concerned friends or concerned family. They be you know what I'm talking about. If you say, hey, I want to quit my job, or if you say, hey, I'm about to start a business, and they're like, that seems a little risky. Are you sure you want to do that? So they'll say they start sowing seeds of doubt or planting seeds of doubt. And sometimes they are not speaking from a place of wisdom. And please hear me when I say this. I'm not saying don't take advice, don't take counsel from, people who really do have your best interests at heart. And a lot of times these people do. But sometimes if they haven't done it before, they are speaking from a place of fear, a place of their own fear, and they're projecting their fear onto you. Okay. So it's coming from a place of fear and not a place of wisdom. Okay. So just be mindful of that. Also, sometimes these dream killers, these are people who, instead of being encouraging, they're whispering doubt. Okay. So they're whispering doubt instead of react when you y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. I don't know what's going on. Lately the internet has been acting a little spotty, but hopefully you can see me and hear me. But what I was saying is, these people who whisper doubt versus encouragement, you want to pay attention to how they react when you share your goals or when you share your dreams with them. Okay. Here's how you kind of know when you share your goals or you share your dreams with someone. Do they immediately encourage you, or do they immediately start listing out ways or listing out obstacles that you might encounter or why it won't work? All right. What do they do first? Do they offer encouragement first, or do they offer a whole bunch of obstacles first? Like, well, you got to have this, you got to have that, you need to get this, that, and the third, or whatever. Or did they say, oh my gosh, that's awesome, girl, I can't believe you're doing that, how can I help you? And then maybe say, have you considered this, have you considered that? But if they're like immediately saying these things, then you want to be careful of these people. Okay. Because these people could be the not so obvious haters, the not so obvious dream killers. Okay. So be mindful of that. Another way that you can identify these dream killers is they might not say a whole lot, but look at their facial expressions and stuff like that. Because negative influence can immediately drain your energy. So they don't have to say much. Maybe their face is doing, their facial expressions are doing all the talking and telling you everything. Like they're silently throwing shade. All right. Maybe they're giving you a side eye. Maybe they smirking. Maybe they're chuckling when you share about your news. Or your vision or your plans or your goals that you have. Okay. So you got to protect your space from the silent shade that people might be trying to throw at you, or the doubt that people are trying to plant at you, with you, whether it's verbally or with nonverbal reactions to when you share things about your business. Okay. So protect yourself. All right. Now, the next thing I want you to do when it comes to protecting your mindset from dream killers is you need to set boundaries around your goals. All right. Set boundaries around your goals. Your dreams and your goals are precious. So you have to protect it. And you can't give your dreams and your goals to everybody, because everybody can't handle it. Everybody is not going to the level that you're going to. And that's one of the reasons why they can't handle it. They're not even going to be on your level. They're not even going to be able to achieve the things that you're going to be able to achieve, or have the success that you're going to be able to have. So don't be surprised when they act this way, because they ain't on that level. So they ain't on that level because they can't handle it. And they weren't meant to handle it. Okay. So you can't share your dreams and your goals with everybody because they can't handle it. All right. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It is. I'm being a little shady, but really, you have to be mindful of that, and you have to be able to recognize who can handle your dreams, your goals, and your vision, and who can't. Because if you let the wrong people in, those are the people who are going to be sowing those seeds of doubt and throwing shade and negativity your way. So just remember, your dreams, your goals are precious. Think of it like a baby, like a newborn baby. You're not going to just be giving your baby to any and everybody. You're not going to be putting your newborn baby in any and every situation if you think it's going to be harmful, or. So be careful who you're sharing your dreams and your goals with, because your business might still be in the very beginning stages. It hasn't even taken off, and you can't just be sharing all of that with any and everybody. Okay. It needs your protection. Everybody does not get access to it. All right. And just because everybody doesn't get access to it initially as you're creating it, as you're shaping it and forming it, that doesn't mean that you don't offer your business once it's established to people. But in the planning stages, in the early stages, when you get new, or even in later stages, when you have new ideas that you're trying to push out, you can't share that with everybody. So ways that you can set boundaries around your goals is the first thing you can do is guard your ears. All right. Remember, everyone doesn't deserve access to your goals, and don't share your vision with people who never clap for you when you are winning. All right. Definitely don't share your goals with people who never clapped when you shared stuff or when you achieved stuff. Okay. Share your progress with people who will clap for you and not question you. All right. I'm going to say that again. Share your progress, share your goals and your visions with people who will clap for you and not question you. All right. Because there's a difference. The other thing is create safe spaces for yourself. Surround yourself with communities that will nurture your growth. So get in a mentorship group, get in masterminds, get in accountability groups, get an accountability partner to kind of help you create a safe space when it comes to you growing and achieving your goals. All right. And you can look for this like in Facebook groups, or like look locally for any groups that you might be able to, that are like entrepreneur or small business based. Okay. um, because you want to surround yourself with other people, with other like-minded people, because it's hard to grow if you are the biggest thinker in your group or in your circle, or if you're the smartest person in your circle. It's hard to grow because you're the smartest one, you're the biggest thinker in your group. So how are you going to grow? So you got to surround yourself with people with similar mindsets, but also who are smarter than you, who are more advanced than you are, who have gone further in their businesses, who have already achieved the things that you are trying to achieve. Okay. All right. So that's what you need to do. And then the third thing I want you to do is you got to keep some things under wraps. All right. You got to protect your ideas from criticism until the ideas are strong enough to handle the criticism. All right. Like I said, sometimes when we're starting things, when we're starting a business and growing, it's too fragile. Just like a newborn baby, we're not gonna have that newborn baby out on the playground playing and stuff like that. It's too fragile. It can't handle those elements. And that's how you have to look at your business. Sometimes in certain seasons and stages of your business, you got to protect it from certain situations until it's strong enough to handle the criticism, the negativity. Okay. And you have to decide when you make it to that point. But if you're in the early stages, you're not at that point. Okay. So if someone says something, just don't be afraid to say, I'm working on something, instead of just giving them a whole bunch of details. All right. Because sometimes some people will want to tear you down and criticize you. So I think that setting boundaries around your goals is really, really important. I'm going to do a quick recap with that. When you set your boundaries, you want to guard your ears from people. Don't share your vision with everybody, especially not with the people who never clap for you. The second thing you need to do is create safe spaces for yourself so that you are in a community and surrounded by people who will help you grow. And the third thing you need to do when it comes to setting boundaries around your goals is keep some things under wraps. All right. Now, the last and final thing I have for you when it comes to protecting yourself from these dream killers is that you yourself need to be feeding your mind the right kind of fuel. All right. Your mindset is like a garden. What you give it daily, how you water it daily is how it's going to grow. So if you're watering it with negativity, it's going to grow with negativity. If you're watering it with positivity, then positivity is going to grow. If you're watering it with happiness, if you're watering it with joy, if you're watering it with seeds of success, then that's how it's going to grow. So protect your mind, feed your mind the right fuel so that it can grow in the direction that you want it to grow. And how you can do that is, I'm going to list out a few little things. You can do daily affirmations to yourself. We talked about this when I did back in May, when we did our money affirmations and stuff. So you got to speak life over your goals. Say affirmations like, I am built for this. My ideas matter and I attract success. support. Those are things that you can say. A good example is if you are an athlete, or if you ever watch athletes or any athletes that compete at a high level, oftentimes they visualize themselves winning before they actually win, or before they actually even go into the game or step on the field or whatever. They visualize themselves winning. And as entrepreneurs, we have to do the same thing. We have to visualize our business being successful. We have to visualize us already achieving our goals before we hit those goals. It starts here in the mind. You have to visualize it for yourself. So say those affirmations, visualize your wins. The second thing, excuse me, the second thing I want you to do when it comes to feeding your mind the right kind of fuel is I need you to limit your negative intake. What does that mean? Cut down on doom scrolling. Cut down on gossip that you're doing amongst your friends, as well as gossip blogs. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Limit the negativity that you consume. All right. I'm going to say it again. Limit the negativity that you consume. Because if you could spend hours on Instagram, other people do well, then all right, I'm back. Hopefully y'all can see me and hear me. But what I was saying, if you spending hours and hours of time on Instagram and TikTok and watching other people achieve their goals and having other people do their wins, then you'll feel like you're behind. The other thing is you could be replacing that time by doing your own thing, whether it's working on your business, whether it's listening to podcasts, whether it's watching inspirational videos, or learning new things about your business, things that are going to promote your growth, build up your confidence, motivate you, and encourage you. You can be doing that instead. Now, something else that you can do to make sure you're feeding your mind the right type of fuel is you can start learning from resilient stories. What do I mean? Draw strength from other people who went through struggles and now they're achieving success. A good example is like Tyler Perry. Like, he started off homeless. Then, he did his plays. People talked about him for all the little plays and stuff that they had. Now, instead of talking about him in a negative way, usually people talk about Tyler Perry in a positive way now, because he has his own studio production in Atlanta, and people are coming to him to do movies, use his studio for that, when in the beginning, they were talking about him being on the Chitlin circuit with his plays that, I would always watch on a bootleg DVD. But now, now he's doing big things. So just draw from those resilient stories and know that people are going to talk about you. You're going to have some valleys. You're going to have some mountaintop experiences, just like with Tyler Perry's story. Because when you hear these stories of these different people, it helps you and it reminds you that this is just part of the journey. This is just part of the process that I have to go through. Okay. So that is all I have when it comes to protecting your mind from dream killers. The first thing I talked about was how to spot a dream killer. The second thing was talking about setting boundaries around your goals. And the third thing was I talked about how you need to feed your mind the right fuel. Now, I'm looking at the time, y'all. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be short. But either way, it's still good information. Hopefully you will be able to take these gems and apply it to your life as well as to your business. As always, I'm going to end with a challenge for today. So I want you to challenge yourself to identify one dream killer in your life. It could be a person, it could be a habit, it could be even your own inner critic, but identify one dream killer in your life. And then write down one boundary or one action step you are going to take to protect your mindset. All right. And if this has been helpful for you, drop some fire emojis in the chat. Even if you're catching the replay, I would love to hear from you, because I need you to get ready to guard your goals and protect your peace. Now, y'all make sure y'all tune in tomorrow, because day 3, we're talking about the power of reframing failure. Okay. We're talking about why your failure, it isn't the end, but it's just the cost you have to pay for success. All right. So we're going to reframe failure tomorrow. So be sure to tune in because you don't want to miss this. And if you like my content, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. All right. Take care, guys.